Hello friends, I am once again welcoming to the VVSM Academy, School of Arts and Science. Come friends, let us have a brief studies on cellulose properties. The important cellulose properties are biodegradable, high porosity, lower density, hygroscopic, biocompatible, no color, no odor, renewable, which are the important properties of cellulose. Cellulose, a plant cell, these are the cellulose fibers, then macrofibrils and microfibrils. Cellulose is a structural protein in plants and algae. Cellulose fibers are enmeshed in polysaccharide matrix to support plant cell walls. Plant stems and wood are supported by cellulose fibers distributed in lignin matrix, where the cellulose acts like a reinforcing bars and the lignin acts like a concrete. The purest natural form of cellulose is cotton, which consists of over 90% cellulose. In contrast, wood consists of 40 to 50% cellulose. Some types of bacteria secrete cellulose to produce biofilms. The biofilms provide an attachment surface for the microorganisms and allow them to organize into colonies. While animals cannot produce cellulose, it is important to their survival. Some insects use cellulose as a building material and food. Ruminants use symbiotic microorganisms to digest cellulose. Humans cannot digest cellulose, but it is the main source of insoluble dietary fiber, which affects nutrient absorption and aids defecation, that is, aids defecation. Important derivatives of cellulose. What are the important derivatives of cellulose? Many important cellulose derivatives exist. Many of these polymers are biodegradable and are renewable resources. Cellulose derived compounds tend to be non-toxic and non-allergic. These are very important discussions today. Cellulose derivatives includes cellulite, cellophane, rayon, which is an artificial silk, used as an artificial silk, a cellulose acetate, cellulose triacetate, these are the derivatives, nitrocellulose, methyl cellulose, cellulose sulfate, ethylose, ethyl hydroxyethyl cellulose, hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose are several important derivatives of cellulose which are used in the modern biochemistry. Important commercial uses of cellulose. Come friends, let us have a brief look on commercial uses of cellulose. The principal commercial use for cellulose is paper manufacturing, where the kraft process is used to separate cellulose from lignin. Cellulose fibers are used in textile industry. Cotton, linen and other natural fibers may be used directly or processed to make rayon, which is an artificial silk. Microcrystalline cellulose and powdered cellulose are used as drug fillers and as a food thickeners, emulsifiers and stabilizers. Scientists use cellulose in liquid filtration and thin layer chromatography. Cellulose is used as building material and electrical insulator. It is used in everyday household materials like coffee filters, sponges, glues, eye drops, laxatives, and films. While cellulose from plants has always been an important fuel, cellulose from animal waste can also be processed to make the butanol, which is a biofuel. You see, the friends, this is the important thing, artificial rayon, that is cellulose. These are the cellulose fibers. They are how they are making cellulose fibers, and these are the artificial rayon which is used in the textile industry. Important commercial uses of cellulose. We are continuing the craft process, also known as a craft pulping or sulfate process, is a process for conversion of wood into wood pulp, which consists of almost pure cellulose fibers, the main component of paper. The craft process involves treatment of wood chips with a large mixture of water, sodium hydroxide and sodium sulfide, known as wheat liquor, that breaks the bonds that link lignin hemicellulose and cellulose. The technology entails several steps, both mechanical and chemical. It is the dominant method for producing paper in the paper industry. In some situations, the process has been controversial because craft plants can release odorless products, and in some situations produce substantial liquid waste. The process name is derived from a German word Kraft, meaning strength. In this context, due to the strength of the craft paper produced using this process. This is a paper industry, and this is a wood pulp is used in the craft pulping in a sulfate process. Craft process is also called as sulfate process. Functions of cellulose. Cellulose serves many functions in living organisms. Provides rigidity to plants. Cellulose primarily offers structural support to plant cells. It forms a robust and rigid cell wall, giving plant cells their characteristic shape and preventing from collapsing under pressure. Regulates water uptake and transportation. It also helps regulate water uptake in plants and transportation. It helps maintain the osmotic pressure in plant cells, ensuring proper water balance and turgidity. Provides growth and development. Cellulose is involved in cell growth and expansion during plant development. As the plant grows, new cellulose microfibrils develop, increasing the size of the cell wall and enabling cell elongation. Proteins from pathogens. The cellulose cell wall is a physical barrier, protecting plant cells from external threats such as pathogens and herbivores. Produces biofilms. Some bacteria secrete cellulose to form biofilms that help microorganisms to attach and organize into colonies. This is the biofilms. Types of cellulose. Come friends, types of cellulose. Cellulose-derived monomer, nanocellulose, cellulose fibers, and cellulose derivatives. There are 4 types of polymorphs of cellulose exist. They are cellulose 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cellulose 1 is naturally occurring, which exists as 1 alpha and 1 beta. Cellulose found in bacteria is enriched in 1 alpha, while in higher plants it exists as 1 beta. In contrast, cellulose 2 exists in regenerated cellulose fibers. The conversion of cellulose 1 to cellulose 2 is irreversible. Cellulose 3 is obtained by treatment of cellulose 1 or 2 with amines. Similarly, cellulose 4 forms after the treatment of cellulose 3 with glycerol at very high temperature. Commercial uses of cellulose. Come friends, what are the important commercial uses of cellulose in the field of science and technology? One of the Earth's most abundant and renewable biomaterials, cellulose finds various commercial applications. Its unique properties such as biodegradability, strength and chemical reactivity make it an attractive choice for sustainable and eco-friendly products. The most significant commercial application of cellulose is paper and paperboard production. Wood pulp, which contains high percentage of cellulose, is processed to extract the cellulose fibers. These fibers are then converted into pulp to manufacture various paper products, including newspapers, books, packaging materials, and cardboards. Cellulose-based fibers are used in textile industry to produce fabrics like rayon, modal, and lyocell. These fibers are derived from cellulose obtained from plant sources such as wood, bamboo, or cotton. Derivatives such as cellulose acetate and methyl cellulose are used to produce biodegradable films and coatings which are used to pack food items. Derivatives like microcrystalline cellulose are widely used as excipients. This is excipients in the pharmaceutical industry, serving as a bulking agents in tablets and capsules. Cellulosic biomass, including agricultural residues, wood chips, and energy crops, is a potential feedstock for biofuel production. It is a biofuel production. Many cellulose-derived polymers are biodegradable and serve as a renewable resources. They tend to be non-toxic. Some common cellulose derivatives are celluloid, cellulose acetate, cellulose triacetate, nitrocellulose, methyl cellulose, cellulose sulfate, and rayon, which is an artificial silk. It is used in the construction and industry to produce cellulose insulation. Come friends, let us have a brief look on glycogen versus cellulose, a comparative studies between glycogen and cellulose. Structure. Glycogen is made up of 1,4-glycosidic bonds in the linear chains and alpha-1,6-glycosidic bonds at branching points. Here in cellulose it is beta-1,4-glycosidic bonds. Glycogen means alpha-1,4-glycosidic linkage, and here cellulose is beta-1,4-glycosidic bonds. Main function of glycogen: short-term energy storage, polysaccharide in animals, but here provide structural support to plant cells in cellulose. Digestibility. It is highly digestible by animals including the humans. Glycogen. It is indigestible by most animals including humans. Occurrence. Glycogen occurs mainly found in animals and certain fungi and bacteria. Cellulose is predominantly found in the cell walls of plants. Now, the comparative study of amylose versus cellulose. Amylose is a linear polysaccharide consisting of glucose units connected by alpha-1,4-glycosidic bonds, whereas beta-1,4-glycosidic bonds in cellulose. Main function: storage polysaccharide in plants. It is a structural component in plant cell walls, providing strength, rigidity, and protection to plant cells. digestibility in amylase. It is digestible by both humans and animals. Here in cellulose, it is indigestible by most animals including humans. Solubility, it is partially soluble in water. Amylase is partially soluble in water, but cellulose is insoluble in water. Now the comparative studies of starch versus cellulose. Okay, starch, polysaccharide composed of two types of glucose molecules, amylose and amylopectin. Starch is made up of amylose and amylopectin. 1,4-glycosidic bonds, while amylopectin is branched chain with 1,4-glycosidic and 1,6-glycosidic bonds. My dear friends, as I told you, starch is made up of glycosidic bonds of 1,4 linkage, while amylopectin is branched chain with both. Amylopectin is having both 1,4 as well as 1,6 glycosidic bonds. In case of cellulose, it is a linear polysaccharide compound having a beta 1,4 glycosidic bonds. Cellulose means beta 1,4 glycosidic bonds. Units results in straight and branched chains in cellulose. Coming to the main function, plant's primary energy storage form, it is broken down into glucose in times of need. So in case of the cellulose, a critical component of plant cell walls, providing structural support and rigidity to plants. Digestibility is concerned in starch. It is easily digestible by humans and many animals due to the presence of alpha amylase enzymes in their digestive systems. It is indigestible. Cellulose is indigestible by humans and most animals due to the absence of enzymes that break beta 1,4 glycosidic bonds. Solubility is considered in starch, partially soluble in water, but insoluble in water and other common solvents. So these are the important study about the starch versus cellulose. Structures of carbohydrates. Friends, we will discuss the structures of carbohydrates in our forthcoming classes, well in detail about the beautiful structure of carbohydrates. So, and epimers also, then staple foods also, then transpiration, and polysaccharide examples, cellular fibers are the important studies in the forthcoming classes. Please wait and see the next coming classes and let us continue what is that cellulose in Kannada medium. Thank you for listening. Like, share and subscribe.